exactly a traditional recipe, Pepsi and potatoes, but put these ingredients together and you get a huge uproar. PepsiCo is actually suing four Indian farmers, accusing them of growing a certain type of potato that it says is exclusively for Lay's chips. It's reportedly demanding damages amounting to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Farmers associations in India say the law is on the side of the small farmers. Now, Pepsi says it will drop the lawsuit if the farmers that it's suing join its authorized cultivation program. It's just one example of friction between small Indian operators and international mega corporations. We've also seen local retailers accuse giants like Walmart and Amazon of ruining their business. Hannah Lounsborough is the executive director of Some of Us, an organization using people power to hold companies to account. She joins us live now from London. Hannah, it does actually seem rather aggressive to have this multinational, multi-billion-dollar company suing for small farmers. I mean, these farmers can't really be that much of a threat, can they?
We don't think so. I think Some of Us members feel that, this is a really good example of a very large corporation taking on very small, in many cases, family-run businesses and going after them for amounts of money that are kind of spare change to a company like PepsiCo, but can be absolute ruin for, for a small farmer.
How are the farmers actually supposed to know that a company like Pepsi has exclusive rights to a certain type of potato?
Well, I mean, I think this is exactly the question that Some of Us members, would ask, really. And it sort of highlights the way in which it makes it's a bit of a nonsense, really, when these huge corporations seem to own things like seeds or water supply, these sorts of things, which, to most people's way of thinking, really belong to all of us. So, we're not surprised that the farmers, didn't really believe themselves to be doing anything wrong, and that this lawsuit has come as a huge shock and is completely overwhelming.
The lawsuit was for over $100,000 for each of the farmers. I mean, when you have a massive... I can't even imagine what it's like to be a small-time farmer in a place like India and having Pepsi suing you. I mean, how do farmers protect themselves?
Well, I think it's difficult. I think we're seeing civil society in India has really come forward to stand with these farmers and challenge the behaviour of PepsiCo in this case, but also, similar corporations. You mentioned Amazon in the introduction, who've also been accused of doing things which are really damaging many Indian domestic operations. And I think there's some evidence that the Indian government is taking steps to regulate, but these are tough questions to answer, because it is critically important that, we don't end up in a situation where a handful of companies are, owning the seeds that we rely on to produce our food supply, or, are responsible for almost all the business that gets done online.
So Pepsi's argument is that they filed this lawsuit to protect the interests of thousands of farmers who are part of its potato farming program. Is that a fair argument, do you think?
I don't think so, really. I mean, I think, you asked a good question at the beginning, which is, how are they supposed to know, really, that these seeds are sort of, they belong to somebody else? But I also think that, arguably PepsiCo is really setting up a relationship of dependency between some of these farms with whom it has its cultivation, farmers with whom it has its cultivation program. We're seeing examples in some cases, for instance, of seeds being developed that will only grow and will only thrive if they are also raised using fertilizers or what have you that are also produced by some of these parent companies. So you are seeing sort of small farmers really ending up sort of in hock to some of these very big businesses. And it's hard to see that as kind of, creating the conditions in which everybody can make a success of a small business.
All right, Hannah, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate that.
Thank you.